Everybody. Welcome to our discussion forum today. We are going to be discussing leadership in organizations with a special focus on entrepreneurial organizations as well as entrepreneurship within large firms, because there are many business units that are pretty much like startups, and there are entrepreneurial risks, etc., involved. But fundamentally, the issue is going to be about leadership. And we have Amit Garg with us today, who is going to be moderating. And Amit is the business head of Firefly Ventures, which is the digital arm of HT Media. And he has worked as business manager with Nokia, Whirlpool, and Asian Paints. He's a chemical engineer from IIT BHU and an alumnus from IIM Lucknow. That's Amit Garg. Our co-panelists, they're going to be 4 co-panelists. We are still waiting on Mr. Praveen Sinha, but I'll take the opportunity to introduce Mr. S.N. Bhaduri. He's the country manager and consumer media, country manager and consumer media head for Thomson Reuters India. He has worked extensively with print, radio, and TV, and he's an alumnus of Times School of Marketing. The other end, we have Mr. Vivek Gaur, co-founder and CEO of Yepme. And also started Bagot Today. He has worked with HT Media and Living Media. He's an alumnus of DCE and of IIM Lucknow. I'm seeing a pattern. Mr. Praveen Sinha is not yet here. He is kind of lost. He will get here. But he is the co-founder of Jabong.com, and he previously worked with Maruti, Microsoft, and McKinsey, and he's an alumnus of IIM. So we will get started with the discussion, and Mr. Amit Garg will lead us. He will moderate the discussion. We will wait for Praveen Sinha. Whenever he shows up, he will join us. Okay? And with regard to questions, how would you like to do that, Amit?
So what the format probably will follow is set the context and ask Vivek and SN to speak on the topic for a few minutes. And then what we can do is ask the audience for the questions. And I think that will probably bring in more discussions and more viewpoints from all the speakers. And as and when Mr. Sinha joins, we can take his viewpoints and what he thinks also.
Okay, so after the speaker is done, you can ask your questions. So hold on till the speaker is finished, yes? But of course, they will speak multiple times, not just once. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. So it's a tough task to moderate a panel. It's not something which one is used to doing daily. So pardon me if I make any mistakes. And first of all, welcome to all of you here. Very good afternoon to each one of you. I'm sure we will have some interesting discussion out here. I expect a lot of interesting insights from these veterans from the industry who are here. I think their past 20 odd years of experience, each one of them that they have, can give you really interesting insights and practical aspects of what leadership is all about. Leadership is critical to any business or any aspect of life. Starting from politics to your personal life, business, sports. If you see any wake of life, leadership is a critical element. How the country is shaped is defined by its leadership. How the team performs at a match is defined by how the leader leads the group group of people or the group of sportsmen or group of talent that he has. How the movie comes out is defined by the director's thinking process and how he brings about the entire elements of the story and the screenplay. How businesses do is defined by how a leader shapes the thinking at the helm of the affairs. Leadership is critical whichever way, whichever aspect. How families do is many a times defined by the head of the family, how he leads the family, how he takes the lineage forward, and what perspectives he brings to the table. So whichever aspect of life you see, leadership has a critical role to play. And sometimes leaders get lost, as we have one example. So what I'll probably not speak much at this point in time. Vivek and SN also been dear friends. Vivek was a batchmate at IIM Lucknow. We have shared a lot of moments together in those old times. SN is somebody who I worked for briefly in my HT Media's thing. So what we will do is, and both of them bring very different perspectives to the table. Having worked in a very structured, large multinational organization like Unilever's Group, in his early years, Vivek then moved on to try his hands on media with Living Media Group, where he kind of ran it in a very entrepreneurial way by starting a business which became fairly big for the group, which is the Baguette Today business. And then he decided to take a plunge and decided to become a billionaire. On his way to do that, he started his own business. He started our own business, Yapme, which has been there for 5 years now, right? Almost 5 years. And I think he brings in a perspective of how leadership is so different in each of these kind of organizations, large multinational structured organization, to a small Indian, not small, medium-sized Indian group, to a completely ground-up startup organization. On the other hand, SN has also had an experience with Microsoft, again large structured multinational organization, to HT, which was a media organization where he was kind of in an entrepreneurial role trying to set up the digital business for HT Media, to now going back to one of the largest journalist organization of the globe, Thomson Reuters, where he's trying to probably again bring the entrepreneurial elements to the business. So I think I'll hand over to Vivek to say a few things from his experience on how leadership is so different and what are the challenges of leaders in the current time.
Thank you, Amit, for the kind words. I think one leader is arrived.
That's fine. This is Mr. Praveen Sinha, the co-founder of Jabong.com, and he has worked previously with Maruti, Microsoft, and McKinsey, and he's an alumnus of IIM. We got started a little bit with introductions. The topic today, as you know, is on leadership, entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship in large companies. So the format that Amit has chosen is that each one of you will go around, and we're starting with Vivek, and the discussion will be, we'll talk about your experiences, and then questions will be posed from the audience. Okay. Leave the order to Amit.
So, Praveen, just before you came, you were talking about how leadership, what are the leadership challenges in different kinds of organizations? You were just talking about Vivek and Essence experience, and I think you also bring a similar kind of experience, having worked in a large structured organization like Microsoft, Maruti, and then multinational organization like McKinsey, to moving to Jabong, which yes, part of a multinational group, but still a very entrepreneurial venture as far as India is concerned. So I was asking Vivek if he can share from his experience across industries that he's worked, across organizations like Lever, India Today Group to now his own venture. Vivek?
Yeah. Thank you, Evan. Some people I can see are happily dozing off. Happens to all of us. But anyhow, so I said that you should not take leadership too seriously, because if you go home and tell your wife I'm the leader, you're in trouble. So to begin with, you should not take leadership too seriously. But on a serious note, I think, as Abid said, that leadership as a role gets defined. Now, the whole thing is, I'm sure all of you, I don't know, most of you must be people who are maybe a year or two away from your first job, or some of you, I don't know, have worked somewhere, etc. The key thing is not about what position you hold in the organization. To my mind, I never felt, when I was even an area sales manager in Unilever, I never felt that you are not in control. Who's a leader? A leader is one who thinks that who knows that these are the finite resources that are there in his hand or her hand, and then mobilizes them and to deliver what is required of him. There used to be a thing called when you are lower down in the organization, there is a concept called an inverted pyramid. I'm sure a lot of you might have even read it in the textbooks. The guy who's at the bottom has the highest knowledge and the least amount of ability to take decisions, and the guy who has the lowest knowledge has got the most amount of ability to take decisions. It's about how do you leverage the resource. So when you guys are starting fresh, talking to you about leadership at CEO level or a founder level, etc., looks a bit difficult and far-fetched, and something that you're unlikely to see for some years. My own thing is that if you can go out of this room and feel that when you join your first job, how do you feel like a leader? Now, all of us will have somebody who will be on top of us. So for me, board is on top of me. I may feel I'm not the leader. The board decides what they want to do. The board may feel it is not the board that decides, but their principals who decide what they do. But if we were to do that, then all of us will have what is called a follower mentality. So I'm saying when you guys go out into the working field and work whatever jobs that you do, I don't know, some of you might be doing legal, I'm told that this runs a law school, it runs MCA, so whatever job that you have, will give you certain resources at your command to deploy them and to get best out of it. I think at that particular moment, you must feel that you are the leader to deliver on that objective. And I sincerely believe in that. So for example, I interact with a lot of people from law firms when we do agreements. So the lowest level of person is the person who's read the agreement more than I have, who's going to sign, and certainly read the more number of times than even an investor will ever read. And he or she has the maximum knowledge. There are people I've met who feel that they are leading the entire deal. And there are people who feel that they are being cog in the entire thing and they have nothing but taking out printouts for their bosses. Actually, it's all about what you think is your knowledge base versus the other. So what you bring onto the table, which makes you the leader in that situation. Otherwise, all of us can suffer from what is called a follower mentality. And I would urge all of you, when you enter your working life, feel like a leader. Nobody is a leader and nobody is a follower. Every dog has a rabbit, and every rabbit has a dog. So if you think that you're always a rabbit in a situation, that is incorrect. You will have something that makes you a dog in terms of being able to chase things to the logical conclusion. So that's the key message that I want to leave with people who are like you, going to join jobs in the next 2 or 3 years. I have a lot of people of fairly high caliber who join us. We've got some 8, 9 people from IIT who's part of my organization. There are 7, 8 people from IIMs who are part of the organization. And the good thing which I liked about some of these people who are high achievers is they never feel that they're not in control. And that is the difference between a person who's a leader versus a person who thinks he's always a follower. So I've got people who are fresh out of IIT and are doing the first level job of digital marketing, but they feel that they are more in control of a situation because they have far more knowledge than me of the job that they are doing. So it's all about resources. Whatever job you do, whenever you start your job, you will have resources. There's no organization which will not provide you with resources. There's no organization which will not provide you with objectives. Once you have an objective, you have resources, you should feel leader to get to that objective. And that's what I think is the message that I wanted to start with.
So, thanks Vivek, that was short, but I think very interesting take on leadership. So what I understand from you, leadership is all about the mindset. Everyone is a leader in its own aspect. As long as you believe in it, you are in control.
There are resources, there are objectives, there are opportunities that are handed over to you when you start working. It's up to you what you make out of them, what you do with them, and how you show that leadership behavior and a trait. So leadership is not something which is given to you by an organization. Leadership is something what you get out of what you have. Is that what I think you were meaning to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So SN, I think with a very interesting take from Vivek, why don't you speak on leadership? What have been your experiences? What do you think? How you define leadership? And what's the role of a leader in an organization?
Thanks, Amit. To a large extent, I tend to agree with Vivek that leadership is something innate and everybody has it in him or her, there inside. And it really doesn't matter at what level you are and what place you're, at what level you are and what place in the organization you occupy. There is always potential for showing your leadership potential. I'll just go back around 20, 21 years when I started my career, and it was with a newspaper called Times of India, which was a very, very distant second in this city, and we were all given certain areas to look after as far as distribution is concerned. And there I saw how even amongst the people who are vendors, who are coming and giving newspapers to you, people gravitate towards certain individuals who have a certain leadership style, a certain ability to take that risk, to take that decision. So it's at all levels. And as I have progressed through these last 20 years, I have had the opportunity of watching big names from India like Sameer Jain, Mrs. Shobna Bhatia from HT, or across the world like Bill Gates or Steve Ballmer, and how they are able to, the only place where I slightly differ is, I think in a lot of ways, the leaders are able to define their vision and take the group, the team forward in one singular direction. The advantage, I think, of that ability is people want to know what they're supposed to do. That is not completely a follower mentality, but that is also what is the organization trying to do and what is my role in that organization. I mean, that old story of are you building a church or are you just laying the brick? So you need to know that what you're creating or what you're contributing is to creation of a beautiful structure, a beautiful place of worship. So from that perspective, there needs to be somebody who says, this is what I'm trying to make. And then you should know that this is the critical piece of work that you're doing, and in that space, you're the leader. One point that I'm completely with Vivek is that whichever position you are, you need to be fearless. You need to be fearless as far as knowing what you're doing very, very well, and knowing that the level that you know of that particular thing, there are very few other people who know it. And that confidence will allow you to communicate issues to your superior or to up the chain. As Vivek said, the inverted pyramid, the person who is at the lowest is closest to the ground and he knows the ground situations best. And it is his job to pass on the message up the command so that the right decisions can be taken so that the organization can move forward in the desired direction. And towards that, I think it is critical that one should be fearless to pass on the message of what they're hearing so that they're also able to imbibe the 30,000 feet picture. When you're right on the ground, you don't know the complete scenario. I mean, when you're running a business, as Vivek is running in his outfit of Yepme, or he's running in Jabong, there are lots of challenges in the marketing area, in the financial area, in the people area. So somebody who is the lowest in the totem pole as far as, let's say, sales is concerned, he might not know what is happening in the financial part or what is happening in the HR part. And a good leader is able to give that visibility and vision. And the right person who is a leader in his own space is also able to imbibe that vision and move forward in the correct direction as far as where the company wants to go. that's the only piece that I would like to add as far as leadership is concerned, what I have seen.
Thanks, Hassan. So,
Sorry. Thanks, Hassan. I think while agreeing to Vivek, Hassan has brought in a very interesting point of, yes, leadership at every level is essential, is important, but you still need a cohesive force. You still need somebody who weave it all together, who provides the guiding light, who provides the vision, who provides the ultimate future for you, which allows you to align all your efforts and goal towards that. Yes, Hassan, that is what you were trying to point at?
Exactly.
So, with that, I think we'll move to Praveen. Praveen, what is your take on leadership? I'm sure you would have another interesting angle to it.
Yeah, I think we have already heard a lot of, I would say, criteria to become good leaders. And good leader does not mean necessarily the CXO, but at all the profiles. It's an exhaustive field if you go deeper. My sense is leadership can be a thought leader or an execution leader or a transformation leader. Based on the individual, he needs to know where he fits. So every animal is different, every human being is different, but they all always have some unique strength where they can show the leadership skill. Leadership does not mean that you are not following. You can be leader in one area and a follower in another. My sense is a good leader is also a very good follower. To me, if I have to simplify things for a leader, my sense is leader is someone who believes or he discovers an opportunity which he strongly feels about, though the world might not feel, and he is able to organize all the resources around it, be it finance, be it people. Finance, I would say, is secondary, but people around him. So people start believing in the dream, in the passion that he believes in, and then it becomes a team's passion and a team's dream, and that's how leaders achieve their goals. So that would be the most simplistic form to interpret a leader. To add, I'll just add entrepreneur as a good example of leaders because he is the one broadly who brings all the cross-functional and different types of people, investors, different stakeholders together to achieve a dream. And it's not an easy path, but I think one of the criteria that makes him do it is passion. There might be multiple reasons, but if I have to take a longer term period where he has to go through a cycle, and most of the stories that inspirational stories, if you read, it goes through a cycle where it's going to touch zero level and then it bounces back. And I would like to add, for example, now I'm part of Jabong. When we started, it was like a 2-3 member team, and then it grew because we had prior commitment with a lot of stakeholders, including investment. But during my college days as well, I started one company, Aquabrim.com, which is not a .com, but it's an automation to household equipment. So 2 scenarios, but definitely only one common theme. And the common theme was that I and my co-founders together wanted to do something. Even if resources were not there in terms of money, we had the team to implement and file patents and make it available to the market. When we had that money, we can make it really big. Yeah.
thanks, Praveen.
Thanks, Praveen. I think the 2 specific points, apart from everything else that you talked about, is one, leadership is not a 0-1 game. While you may be a leader in a certain aspect, you may also be a follower on the other hand. And the second piece, which I think is a thing that you talked about even in the last example that you were giving, is leaders are also the dreamers. Leaders are the guy who dream, who believe when others probably may not have that level of belief, and able to muster resources and able to bring resources together to follow that dream. So coming back to you, Vivek, how do you see leadership being very different when you were working for a organization like Levers? It's a very structured, powerful, lot of talent, lot of processes, lot of systems, to when you moved in and started your own business? What are the things which were common, which were different? What was the challenges which you saw in two scenarios which are very different or alike? Uh, uh, both the organizations were quite different in a context of, as you said, the structure. But before that, I'll pick up on the point which was last spoken, was about the fear of failure. So meaning, as you would have seen the ad of Mountain Dew, गला सबका सूखता है, डर सबको लगता है, but डर के आगे जीत है. So the whole thing is about, it's not that leaders don't fear. So don't get into this thing of being a bravado kind of a thing, whether it's a business or when you're leading a set of people, etc. But it's about being right there. So it's in the context. So for example, two things which were common in both the organization I work for, and I feel really proud about HUL and then Living Media, is that very high level of integrity. So both the organizations had very high level of integrity, and which helped the cause in transitioning one from another. So there would be, as a leader, you would require certain hook when you move from one organization to another. For me, the biggest hook in any organization is integrity. If the organization has an integrity level which is much higher than this, then it could be the thing. So I go by the mantra, and somebody said that if I'm looking for someone, I look at integrity, energy, and intellect. But if integrity is missing, I'll not even look at the other two. So for me, integrity is the starting point. So those were the common things which were there, and hence it made it easier to work in both the organization. In case of larger organizations, some of you will join larger organizations, and I wish you all the best for all that also. But in case of larger organizations, the amount of the trammel that they put, or the boundary conditions that they put, or the amount of freedom that is allowed would be that much smaller, because the stakes are much higher. So if you are working for a Hindustan Lever, then there's a lot of helicopter view which the organization will see, because it's a few billion-dollar organization, and there could be severe downsides if they allow you to do too many things on your own. But you still will have those resources in your hand, and you can still feel the leader. If you go to an organization which is much smaller, which is less than say $250 million kind of an organization, those organizations will allow you to make mistakes, not because they're more generous, but because they're structured like that. For them, the downsides are much lower. So the whole thing is about, you have to understand it in the organization perspective and take the most of it. So what happens is when you, for example, some of you may start your career in a bigger organization. My own 2 cents on this is, go and learn the systems from them. And when you go back to a smaller organization, try and implement those systems to deliver much better focus in the organization. So it's all about things which are, certain things which are constant, and certain things which are variable in the organization. And certain things that you chase for, because that's your personality trait. So for example, I would chase for an organization which has a very high level of integrity. I would also build an organization which has very high level of integrity. So that's the common thing I'll search in both of them. And there will be something which are different, which is like amount of risk that they will allow you to take, and the amount of systems that are there. So you learn to put what you have learned here, to put in the next organization. So in summary, the risk-taking capability is much higher for a smaller organization than a larger organization. There is no prescription for this. I personally feel from my own this thing, working early in a large organization for people like you may help you understand systems better, and then moving on to a more unstructured environment, but everyone to himself. So Vivek, you talked about freedom is a little lesser because the stakes are higher. There's a little bit of a contradiction, don't you think so? For a small organization which is starting with limited resources, the cost of a mistake can be a shutting down of the organization, whereas in a large organization where the resources are in ample, a mistake can be large but still does not risk the life of the organization. Despite that, why do you think the risk-taking ability of smaller organization is always higher? It's about the boundary conditions, meaning I don't know whether that is a relevant example. In Hindustan Lever, one of the sales officer, what he did was he put out a poster in Bombay with a Hanuman showing that there are 2 sachets of one of the shampoos inside it. So I'm saying that, and that almost brought the company down, meaning. So I'm saying that a company of that large size, you have larger enemies and larger people who track you back. I may not be exact in the way I've narrated the incident, but I'm just trying to say that there are very, very large stakes involved. So people, I'm not saying a small organization should build a poster like that or reward a person who does a poster like that. But the key question to be answered is that what is the level of risk an organization would allow? And there are certain things that large organizations just can't afford to do because there are too many people watching. So I think that is what I was trying to say. So it's not about, there are certain things that you can do in a large organization which can also build a large organization down to its knees. So it's a mix of things. So while I partly agree with you, but the key thing is that that's how the organization gets structured, they get made and they run.
What's your take on this aspect in the risk-taking of a large organization and the risk-taking of a smaller organization? Is it because in a large organization, the leaders are too far away from the ground? And as Vivek said in his earlier discussion, that they probably have a lesser knowledge, so their ability to take a risk with the lack of knowledge is obviously less. Whereas in a smaller organization, even the leader is far more glued on to the ground reality, or his ability, his gut feeling about the business is much higher. What's your take? You working in a large global organization. What's your view on this?
I think it's a function of the entrepreneurial spirit that is there in the leadership of the organization, whether it's large or small. I have had the, I would say, pleasure of having worked in big organizations, but it has always been in an entrepreneurial setup because when I started my career with the Times of India, we were a very, very distant number two. I mean, there was nowhere in hell that anybody could even imagine that you could close the gap with HT. And the second place that I went to was Times FM. So it was the launch of the FM channel in India. It was a completely greenfield experience. Nobody had any idea. People didn't give us any hope that radio is a possibility in this country, that people would listen to radio. And in both the places, I had the opportunity of interacting with people who had a vision. In the first case, I remember you asked me this question about risk. You guys are too young, maybe you guys won't remember. But there was a time in the early 90s when the newspaper prices from 3 rupees, 4 rupees or 5 rupees of that time was brought down to 2 rupees for Economic Times and 1 rupee for the Times of India in the city of Delhi. And that strategy was called the invitation price. The direct result of that strategy was it hit the bottom line very, very heavily because I don't know whether you guys are aware of it or not, but every newspaper that you sell, you lose money because you sell it at a hugely discounted price. And I had the opportunity of asking Sameer Jain, who is the owner of the Times of India group, as to why did you do this and why do you think anybody else has not done it? And he had the simple answer that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm the promoter. I can take this risk. A manager cannot dare take this risk. So that's why I'm saying that it's the entrepreneurial spirit in that individual that came in. Just to give an example of my MSN days, we were 4 people who started MSN in India, and I was the head of sales, so it was my job to get the business. And I did a deal with the UB group, and I was young, and at that time, if you got a deal which was worth 50 lakhs for 2-3 months, in the digital world, you thought that you were cat's whiskers. And